Anyway, how you guys doing?
We're doing
Terrific.
good. How are you?
I know it sounds obituary you were just reading there. Thank you.
No, not at all. We don't. God forbid.
We love your work, and we are tremendously honored that you're here with us, because we know you don't do this very often. You don't like interviews very much, do you?
I don't like people that do interviews.
You know what?
I mean,
Walsh, I hate myself with great passion, so we have something in common.
Well, let's personalize this. Which one's Jerry and which one's Jamie? How do I tell the difference?
I'm Jerry.
And I'm Jamie.
I
Does
know,
that help?
made your
Yeah,
life a shitload complicated.
Yeah, I know. It sounds like a couple of guys that never married. Yeah, okay.
According to my brother, that's the only smart thing I've done.
Well, I'm a bachelor, so I'm walking proof that women are not as stupid as they're given credit for. They pass me up. Anyway, what's up? So we got this film opening down McKay, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
Which I've not seen.
You haven't seen? Will you be seeing it at the film festival?
Yeah, they're making me stay in it. I'm in New York right now, and I just came back. I think to sell my co-op. Anybody else that wants to buy it, probably 40% less than what it's worth. So I'm staying for the opening of that on Friday night. Then I go back to LA. And I've not seen it. I did loop on it or do some additional dialogue back 3 or 4 weeks ago, but I couldn't tell anything from that. So it stars Thomas Hayden Church, and it's his movie basically. And Melissa Leo's in it. She just got an Oscar nomination there for the driving a car across the St. Lawrence River. But so that's it. As I say, I've not seen it. It's kind of a noir,
yes.
You know, and I don't know anything about it.
Tell me a little bit about your character and why it appealed to you.
Well, as usual, it's a love interest.
Right.
Which one was
Like
that, Jerry or
Runner,
Jamie?
right?
Who got the laugh there?
Yeah,
I laughed. Yes.
Oh, so
you're
anyway,
a romantic lead in this, right?
Anyway, basically at this phase of my career, I'm driving a taxi cab, and I pick them up 10 or 12 times. They don't let me walk and talk anymore. You know, I have to be planted. I have to be, you know, they don't trust me in front of a camera to do that. So if they hire me, I'm normally sitting someplace. Maybe I'm the Sydney Green Street now of my time. But
well, that's okay. But wait, they won't. Wait, is it like you're not allowed to move at all in the last couple of roles?
No, but I said that, but it sounded funny when I said it.
No, of course it does.
But anyway, I'm driving a cab. I pick up. He's constantly going back and forth, you know, and you know, I pick him up and drive him, and he's being monosyllabic in the back seat of the car. Occasionally, he's in the front seat. I mean, that's about what we do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's Thomas Hayden, and you know, he got a nomination there for the wine thing, whatever that was called.
He's terrific. Yeah. Sideways. Yeah.
Sideways.
Yeah.
So I mean, he had all those years on Wings, you know, and it's you know, I have no idea. As I say, it's I notice that it's not the opening or the closing film at the Tribeca Film Festival. It's in the middle someplace. You know, at least it's a Friday night. I mean, it could have been a Tuesday at 10 o'clock in the morning, so it must be a little bit better than that.
Well, that being said, do you enjoy the film festival experience, and do you enjoy watching yourself in a film?
I don't have any mirrors at home. The film festival, I haven't done that many of them. You know, my films are inclined to open at 10 o'clock on Tuesday morning. But anyway, I don't mind it. You know, it's I'm not that kind of a public person. My mother raised me with the axiom of foolish names and foolish faces, all seen in public places. Right. You know, so I kind of avoid it as much as I can. Mm-hmm. But if I can help it, which this supposedly is doing, I'm you know, I'll do what I have to. I don't want to be known as a total malcontent.
Right.
So
right.
I do it. And as to watching my stuff, you know, what the hell? I'm pretty good. I'm always, you know, I like to surprise myself, and I look at it and I say, yeah, that's okay. So I mean, I'm not. You know, it's not Gary Cooper or something here. You know, I'm just out there doing it. And it's a taxi cab driver. Fine, I do it. It's a taxi cab driver. Is it the president of Princeton? Yeah, the president of Princeton. Princeton's not very happy when I play their president, but other than that, I have a lot of fun with it. So I just like to see what I can get away with. I don't want to do the same guy.
And you haven't.
10 times in a row.
You haven't. With so many credits to your name, I'm curious from you, which ones you think best represent what you're capable of? Which ones are your favorite?
It's kind of, there's 106 films. I just signed to do another one now, 107 in June. But, if I were back in the 40s or 50s or even 30s, I guess, I'd be a contract player for MGM or Universal or something. I'm just one of those guys that show up. And in England, a character person, we saw their movies. We didn't know it was a fishmonger. It was a fishmonger. We didn't know that at night they were playing Ophelia, in something. They went back and forth. We never knew who they were. Here people become more aware, and I get away with people don't know who I am, and they see the character, and that's okay. It helps the film along. Mm-hmm. As to my, some of that stuff is pretty good. I've done some pretty good. Of course, as you guys mentioned, I got the awards for Blood Simple, the Coen Brothers' first film, and there's 15 or 20 things that are kind of interesting as I look along, and a lot of them are boiling pots. A lot of them are take the paycheck and run. But I don't phone it in. I work hard at it.
Right.
Unlike today, yes, my dime. This telephone call. Thank you.
Can I ask you about one movie in particular that I think is one of my favorite movies?
See, I know nothing about your taste.
Well, I saw that I love most of your films, but this one
that also makes you suspect. But go ahead.
This one, Clean and Sober, meant a lot to me when I first saw it, and it continues to mean something to me.
So you're drunk? Yes, fine. What else?
Yes. So did that film speak to you particularly?
Well, my father was AA, and I grew up around it, and I thought it was, it's a tough film.
Yeah.
Michael Keaton, that whole thing. Michael's thing was, AA at that time was kind of covering more fields. Michael's character was more or less a druggist, but I thought it was important. And as they say, having grown up with an alcoholic father, a sainted alcoholic father, I knew a lot about the whole situation, and I wanted to be respectful. Yeah. And I've had a lot of you guys come up and say, that we got it, we nailed it. That was what it was all about. A lot of the Alcoholics Anonymous people and so forth. It is the addiction, trying to cure the addiction is all tough, hard work. Mm. And we didn't soup over it there.
No.
Clean and Sober is a tough movie, mm-hmm. And and it presents it well. I remember I did a TV movie one time called Sarah T, Portrait of a Teenage Alcoholic, and it had that little girl from Linda Blair was in it, mm-hmm. And I remember my father, it was pretty heavy or something, and I was saying to my father, it's pretty tough. Yeah, we like it. The deeper they fall, the better we like it. So anyway, but Clean and Sober definitely had that to it. I don't think my father ever saw Clean and Sober. I think it was gone by then. But it's a good film, and also it's an important film for Alcoholics Anonymous people. They see a lot they identify with, and I've been a lot of people have spoken to me about it.
Yeah, you're amazing. You and Michael Keaton both are just incredible in that film. Tell me about your history in the business, and as you see it, you've been in the business a while. How has it changed for you as an actor and as an industry in general?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know if I'm the right person for it. I came to New York in 1959, so this is 50 years here. I finished college. I'm a Vermonter. I finished college in northern New York State. I have a degree in marketing. A BBA with a major in marketing. And I just, someplace along the line, and, my family was Irish. My mother's name was Sullivan. And there's that ham, there's that Irish, there's that, thing about it. And when I was graduating from college, the dean of students had me and said, "Oh, okay, Walsh, you're going to graduate. We can't stop it, well, we want you to know you're graduating with the lowest marks of anyone in 7 years. So obviously I was going to be a hell of a businessman, you know. And I could sell, you know, I was going to be able to do whatever I wanted to do. Right. And Olivier referred to his mother as having, Laurence Olivier, as having, his mother had the wish, but she never did anything with it. My father definitely had the wish, but he never, you know, he was never able with his background or something. So I inherited the wish. So at that point I said, look, you know, what's the hell with being 40 years old, have 2 or 3 kids, and wonder if I should have tried this.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So there was no one to hurt but me at that point. So I came down to New York and, you know, I auditioned and went to the American Academy of Dramatic Arts for 2 years, graduated from there in 1961. But I just wanted to get it out of the system and not wonder, you know, not look back, you know, wonder if I should have done something. And when I got here, I mean, yeah, I was intelligent. I could, you know, I could understand and appreciate Shaw and Shakespeare and Moliere. Mm-hmm. But I'd grown up in northern Vermont. I was senior class president in high school, 10 girls and 3 boys. I mean, I'd come from the big time. I tell people when I got to New York City, I spent 2 years just putting Band-Aids on my knees, falling off curbs, looking at tall buildings. You know. So I got here, but I've been deaf in 1 ear since the time I was 3. That's where a lot of the noise comes from. Deaf people speak louder for fear they're not being heard. And I hadn't heard proper speech, you know, with only 1 ear the whole thing growing up in Vermont. And, you know, with the intellectual background I had. And but I said things like, Pepper. And they said, what? I said, Pepper. I said, what are you saying? What did you want to go and do that for? Pepper. And they said, holy Moses, fella. You want to do Shaw and Shakespeare and Moliere? I said, well, they understand me at home. So that's where I started. Eventually I had to realize that I wasn't going to do Shaw and Shakespeare and Moliere. There were people much better spoken than I. And I had to find out what, you know, where did I fit, or did I fit, or should I go home? And if people were telling me to go home, I wasn't listening properly. And I just stayed here, and, you know, thank God I drank. You know, if I hadn't been a semi-drunk, I don't think I could have made it. Right. But I don't know what your question was. I think I've done the answer.
That's fine. That's
More than
fine.
adequate.
Tell me about your approach to acting, though. Does it get any easier for you?
Well, it shouldn't get easier. My approach, I don't know. Curiously enough, I am, you know, I'm a stage actor. That's what I started out to be. I never set out to be a movie actor or a television actor. I'm a stage actor. And that's what I thought I was learning. That's what I learned. And other people work differently. I am what they refer to as a slow study. To get the words out of the way, I have to work like crazy. You know, cat, ran, over. You know, I have to drill the damn stuff in. And the talent or the genius or the skills that I have only come after I get rid of all the words. Then I relax enough to the other things happen. You know, right. And that was one of the that's maybe curious to me. But I have to basically get it out of the way. Then the acting starts in my case. And what I try to do, well, basically it's listening. You have to listen. You have to answer the question. And you know, you get help. Directors are supposed to help. And you pick up as much as you can about the character that's within the frames of your life or one's life. And then the things that are not, you kind of manufacture or find a substitute for. That's where you end up doing this actor studio and the method and all this other stuff, you know. And all these little devices and things work, you know, and you use them or not. And you develop a mechanism for technically how you approach it. No one falls off the turnip truck and does Hamlet. There's a lot of hard work that has to go in. And the mother source of everything is the theater. If a person wants to learn the sea, you know, they've been sailing boats for 8,000-10,000 years, You know, if you want to learn to see, you don't get on a powerboat, you learn to sail.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to learn to act, you learn the stage. And then along the line, if someone comes along, learning film technique or television technique is just the transference. You know, you say, okay, you got the camera's right in front of your nose. You don't have to fill up, you know, the stadium at Ypsilanti. You know, you learn how to do it. I went and saw the other night. I went and saw South Pacific over here playing at Lincoln Center. You know,
yeah.
And they were all mic'd. And I said, my God, I bet you in 1949, Enzio Pinza and Mary Martin weren't mic'd. Mm-hmm. You know, and I'm thinking, wow, you know, as a matter of fact, it kind of bothered me in its own way. Yeah. But I don't know if I answered that question either, but I'm tired of it.
No, you're doing great. One question about the theater. What does it give you that film does not as an actor?
No one comes running down the aisle after the curtain goes up and says, cut. Yeah, let's take it again. Take it again. Mm. See, it belongs. Theater is an actor's medium. You know, you do the rehearsal, you've got the playwright, you've got the director, and you spend 3, 4, 5. You're out in Philadelphia, down in Boston, or something. You spend your time before you open it. But once that curtain's up, it belongs to the actors. And you're doing 8 performances. You know, if it doesn't work, you know, something screwed up this afternoon, that night you make sure you get that beat back, that moment back. Movies are, you know, let's take it again, let's take it again, let's take it again. And also, it used to be, and it probably still, and they used to say a feature film was 100 minutes long. Right. You know, and basically that's what it is. Mm-hmm. Because the distributor wants the movie to come in, and he wants the people that want to see films to say, well, Mildred, do you want to go to the 6, the 8, or the 10 o'clock show? They don't want to have the 6 and the 8:14 and the 10:21. They want it basically to fit in there so they can sell their Coca-Cola and their popcorn. That's where they're making their real money. Mm-hmm. So movies are basically 100 minutes long. And when I started out, they said, okay, you work a 5-day week. You've got 100 minutes. So let's see, 5 into 100 gives you 20. 5 twice, yeah. Okay, you've got. I'm trying to think how my math works out here. They wanted 2 minutes a day. They wanted 50 days to shoot a feature film. Right. So that would be 10 weeks, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So they figured if they got 2 minutes a day out of each day shooting on a film, that ended up in the final cut, they had done a good day's work. Mm. So basically, you know, there are days when, you know, you got 3 minutes maybe, and days when you only got a half a minute. You know, like, and so it was incredibly slow, and it can be incredibly tedious. And it all belongs to the director. It all belongs to the editor. It all belongs after you've done your work. Mm-hmm. And, you know, you do 5 or 10 takes out of something. I mean, there's a famous story of Liza Minnelli's father, Vincent Minnelli, mm-hmm. was notorious for takes. You know, he'd do take after take after take. And I was working one time with Marty Ridd or something, and we were shooting some back roads or something with Tommy Lee Jones. And he just took a take and a take. I said, well, what can I change? What can I change? And he said, Vincent Minnelli would you'd sit there and you'd do a take. Then he said, we'll do it again, we'll do a take. And he said, you're going crazy. Then at some point, he said, Vincent Minnelli would say, oh, hold it, wait a second. And he said, he's walking over towards you, and you think maybe you're finally going to get something that'll help you. And he kind of brushes a little lint off the collar of your shirt. Then he goes back and says, okay, let's take it. And you say, what the heck? And Minnelli would do 60 takes, and then afterwards, he said, okay, that's it. Put a hold on 60 and print 2. But that's the movie business. Right. The actor doesn't really have control of it, really, you know, type of thing. So you do good takes, and you look at the film. You look at the one they took, and you say, why did they use that one? You knew you were better on another take. Mm-hmm.
Even so, is it different in certain lower budgeted indie films for you?
Much more so. Yeah. I mean, I've shot movies in 10, 12 days, you know, a low budget thing, as opposed to 50 days or so. you got to. It's wet and dirty. Television is wet and dirty.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a television script might be 80, 90 pages long or something. I don't know, a television movie. It's got to get all those commercials, and it's not really 50 minutes of every hour. It's not, you know, a lot of commercials. And they go in there and they got to shoot 8 or 9 or 10 pages a day. And it's, you know, it's basically it's like, how do you do a soap opera? How do you do one of those afternoon soaps?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, every day they're doing an hour and a half or something. Although the soaps are all dying now. So it's a matter of you do not in the. I remember Jason Robards saying one of the first movies he did with Yul Brynner, and Jason said he said, I'd do take after take. He said finally I was burned out, and he said everything was just Yul Brynner was just rehearsing, you know, and he said I thought I was acting. He said, finally, when I'm all tired out, Yul Brynner said, okay, I think I'm ready for one now. And that was the way Jason said. That's the way he was introduced to the movie business.
Wow. So you have Don McKay premiering at Tribeca this Friday the 24th. Is there anything else upcoming that you're excited about?
Excited. I have another film I did with Michael Cera. Is that his name?
Yeah.
Yes.
Youth in Revolt.
Yeah, Youth in Revolt. I don't know. I think that's in the fall now. I've shot that already, so that's someplace out there too. You know Tribeca. Then we go down with the same film to Dallas, and it opens there in the 3rd or the 4th of at their film festival of May, and supposedly I'm being honored at that film festival. You know,
wow. They
couldn't get anybody from the A or the B list, so they went down to the C list, and they said, "Get Walsh, he's not dead."
No. You know we don't feel that way about you.
You're lucky these aren't photo phones, and I can see what you guys look like. I might really get indignant.
Mr. Walsh, you are absolutely a favorite of ours, and thank you so much for your time. It's so generous.
Okay, well, find out. A copy of this, of course, other than going to the National Archives, will also go to my press agent. Is that right?
That is correct.
Okay,
yes,
well, it's wonderful.
Yes,
okay, fellas, have a good day back there.
All right,
Thank you, Mr. Walsh.
Thank you very much.